Okay, so we can see the slides. Yes, just give me a thumbs up, or just say yes, just so I can make sure that everyone can see the slides. Yes, guys, everyone can see the slides. Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's begin our session. All right. And I want to mention, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our premium webinar training session today. And you know, in all the different things that we do, right? In all the different things that we do, what it comes down to is really two basic things. Whatever your business, whatever your role in the business, whether you're the owner, you're the sales professional, the manager, whatever the role is, and we have many roles, right? Um, but there's two metrics that really determine our survivability as well as our success. All right, and the two things are getting clients and closing the deal. So, do you know when you should close, or do you know the most effective statements and the techniques to use in order to get the deal done? Uh, or how do you close without sounding pushy or aggressive or desperate? Now, we're going to talk about professional selling skills, techniques, and strategies that you can use immediately after today to increase your sales and business results. So, let's get on with this, shall we? Now, maybe some of us think about this, whatever our product and service is, right? Maybe we think about, hey, how am I going to get enough clients? Or let's say you closed a couple deals last week, and then today is like you have a little bit more time, right? And then so you're wondering, where am I going to get my next deal, right? And maybe you read books, maybe you listen to audio programs, you watch videos, you read and you study, but for some reason it's all not working 100%, right? And the main reason for this is that information is flooding in, and we have a lot of theory. We have a lot of theory teachers, okay, and that's not really a good thing. All right, I'll share this with you very quickly. I started my company in 1998 in San Diego. So my company is about 22 years old. Everything that I'm sharing with you today, are things and techniques and skills, platforms and tools that we use in my company that I teach my students and clients to use, and it's working for them. All right. See, experience wh- when you have experience, right? It's because you made mistakes. All right, and we learn from those mistakes, and we implement. Maybe, how would I put this? Maybe the implementation is not perfect, so you have to trial and error. And when I say trial and error, it doesn't mean that trial and error sounds really bad, right? But what you have to do is you have to implement, and then you have to review, and then you have to adjust. And that's what I mean by trial and error. A lot of people think trial and error is, I'll try this, and then if it doesn't work, I try something else. That's not really what we're about. Okay, everything that we do is field tested and proven. Okay, and then now we're in 2021, and here's what I believe: the pandemic is not what is breaking us, nor is it causing all of our problems. It's actually revealing what was already broken, and is showing us what we need to fix. Okay, and I don't know about you, um, but the situation is such that we need to fix all of this now. If you have not tried to fix anything, or let's say you were trying to fix some of the things that were breaking, we need to get all of this fixed now. And that's one of the reasons why we created this webinar training, to help you fix a few things, so that we can continue to have a better year in 2021. So here's the agenda today. All right, the agenda is championship mindset. All right, buzzword, right? Championship mindset. Then we go into professional prospecting. How do we start the flow and manage the flow of leads? Then building instant and effective rapport, persuasion skills, and effective presentations. How do we handle every single objection that we come across? Then professional closing skills, selling without selling. And then very important, yeah, very important is follow-up strategies. And we're going to try our very, very best to minimize losing deals. And it's actually simpler than we think. Okay. Here's the flow of today. We're going to be spending, uh, you know, quite a fair bit of time on the championship mindset because we got to get our mind right. We have to get our mind right, and I'm going to share with you how we can do that. Another important vital factor is prospecting. If we have a flow of leads coming in, all right, uh, or let's reverse it. Let's say you have no leads coming in, you have no customers coming in, right? If you got nobody to talk to, you got nobody to sell to. Then when the lead comes in, you got to know how to build rapport with them so that you're in sync. All right, we'll cover that in more detail. And then how do you do an effective presentation that's engaging and persuasive, without sounding salesy, right? And a very important core topic is how to handle objections. We think we know how to handle objections, but when we go through that module today, you're going to go, wow, you know what, um, I never knew this before. All right. And then follow up strategies. I'll cover exactly how to follow up without you feeling shy, without you feeling like you're desperate or you're bothering them. Okay, just give me a thumbs up or say yes in the chat if these are things that you wanna learn today. Okay, do me a favor. We want to have engagement today, and the challenge the challenge with being online like this is that we don't have we don't have the closeness. So what I try to do is I try to be as engaging with you as possible, and I need feedback from you. Okay, so when I ask questions, do me a favor. It's really for your benefit as well as mine. When I ask a question, when I say please type it in the chat, please go ahead and help me do that. So um, I'm going to wait about 10 seconds. If all of these sound interesting, if all of these modules sound like something that you want to learn, please go ahead and type yes in the chat for me. Okay, awesome. Starting to get your fingers moving, everyone. Early, well, it's not that early in the morning, isn't it? All right. So we're gonna awesome. We're gonna cover. Uh, we're gonna discover three main things today. All right, and these three main things are the fundamentals. It's the core of how we can learn and how we can improve in our results. And when I say these things, yeah, these three things don't just help us in business. It helps us in our family. It helps us in our relationships. It helps us in our career. Because this is the three things I'll share with you are the fundamentals of learning and improving. Okay, so the three things are we must have skills. All right. Notice that I on your screen it doesn't say anything about talent. All right. One of the things that I often say to my students and my clients is that I'm not a very talented person. I know that sounds weird. I'm not a very talented person. What I am though is I'm a very skilled person, combining with the mindset and the tools that I use, and these three things are what makes me have a degree of success in almost everything that I do. So we must have the skills, we must have the mindset, and we must have the tools in order to assist us in our daily activities, in the actions that we take. Now, I shared this picture with almost all the time. Okay, and this guy is uh, actually it's Danny DeVito, an actor. Is from a movie called Pushing Tin. Is it Pushing Tin? Yeah, it's from a movie called Pushing Tin. And what they are is a door to door salesman, right? And so when we see a picture like this is not who we want to be. We don't want to look like we're needy or we're being pushy or salesy. And these things leads to low results. It makes our prospects look at us and then try to run away from us. So if you look at this picture, okay, we want to be the opposite. We want to be the exact opposite of what you see on your screen. Okay, so here's my promise to you today. I sincerely respect your time and your effort in being here. Being here on this session today. We're going to go from 9:30. We started already at 9:30, and we're going to go until 5:30. Now we may end a little bit earlier. We may end a little bit later. That depends on how quickly and how effectively and how we go through the information today. My first promise to you is I will not waste your time. I promise to share relevant and valuable information on this session, and you don't need to believe everything I say. You don't need to think I like and trust Chris. I will back up everything that I share with you. I think that sounds fair, right? So as mentioned earlier, we're also recording, the whole session. We'll get it sent out to you within 24 hours as a private YouTube link, so that you can replay, fast forward, and rewind the parts that you want to hear and watch again. And you are going to want to do that. All right. Now, I want to ask you a favor. You will probably have questions along the way, throughout the whole day. You can either type your questions in the chat. All right. I am monitoring the chat. I have somebody else monitoring the chat as well. So you can either type your question in the chat, or you can write them down and you can ask me like during the break, or before lunch, or at the end of the day we'll have a general Q&A, question and answer. All right. Sound good? All right. Awesome. So you can improve. Everybody can improve. All right. Everything that I'm sharing with you, I promise you, is effective and it works. But everything that I share with you is also part of a complete process. All right. When you think of baking a cake, just like in a sales process, everything in the sales process is exactly like baking a cake. It has steps which must be done in the right order. And to get better, you see, today is just a start. Today, I'm going to give you skills. I'm going to give you information. I'm going to give you tools. All right. But to get better, you must do two things. The two things are where most of the work comes in. Okay. The two things that you must do. Okay. The two things that you must do are to practice and to implement. You cannot escape that. All right. You can learn everything that I share with you today, but if you do not practice and you do not implement, you might as well leave now. Okay? Now before we start, we need to make sure of a few things. We must make sure that your product, your service must have quality. For those of you on this session that I know you personally, okay, I know for a fact that your product or service does have quality. All right, and I'm not saying that everyone else doesn't. Right? All right. What I'm saying is that you must make sure that your product or service must have quality. All right, and you should have a reasonable price, and you should offer exceptional value. We'll talk about value in one of the modules, all right? And then you have to back everything up with excellent service. So you must make sure of these things. Now, if we think of our sales process as like a conveyor belt, or as a funnel, we often hear, oh, it's a sales funnel or a marketing funnel, right? And it's all just different ways of saying that this is your sales process. Okay, it, if you're not doing well now, or if you're not doing well enough, or you want to do a lot better than now, you have to fix your funnel process. The funnel process is made up of several components. So the several components are, the intake, right? The intake is where the you identify your lead and you try to put them into your sales process, right? Um, let's hold on one second. Let me check this. Okay, got it. All right. So you have to fix. You have to put the leads into your funnel. You have to do things. You have to do things in the funnel to qualify them, to persuade them, to convince them that your product and service is the one that they should buy. And then, they're going to have questions along the way. We the questions are what we call objections, right? But we'll cover objections in the whole sequence, and then how do you close? Now, let me ask you a question. Let me close the slides here for one quick second, and because I want to, if everybody can put on your video real quick, I'd like to have a very succinct conversation with everyone. Okay, so everyone put on your video, unless you're not wearing a shirt. Okay, all right, awesome. Let's get unless you have a low internet connection. Irene, Zoe, Linda. Okay, okay. So let me ask you this question. Uh, is closing easy or hard? Closing. How many of you say closing is easy? Put your hand up. Oh, nobody, only me. Ridwan, okay. Yati, yes. Okay, that's because you've heard me say that before, right? How many of you say that closing is challenging? Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I want to share with you, and we'll cover this later. Yeah, closing is actually the easiest part in your whole sales process. It's the easiest part. Okay. The reason I say that is because all of the work is done in the beginning and throughout the whole process. That's where all of the work is done. Closing is one small part where we turn the corner and we turn them into our client. Okay? Most of us think, and I've heard this over the last 20 years. I've been selling and marketing for almost 30. Don't be surprised because I am not as young as I look. Thanks to Yati, my appearance looks a lot better than it did before. Okay, right, Yati? Yes. Okay, so I've been selling and marketing for about 30 years. All right, and I've heard clients and students tell me, "Oh, closing is so hard." Yeah, of course it's hard because you didn't do the work up front. So we are going to be spending and investing in ourselves today. The compared to the rest of the modules, closing will be this much. All right, the whole day will be spent on the other things that lead up to the close. All right. Let me ask you this question. Raise your hand if you would like this. Who would like to have an easier time closing? Okay. Then I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I'm going to ask you to uh, uh, listen to the strategies that I share. And there are things that I'm going to ask you to do today and from this point on that will make you a better sales professional, make you a better entrepreneur, and make you a better business owner, and make you a better marketing professional. Is that fair? If that's fair, just raise your hand. Okay, awesome. I'm going to give you guys a virtual hand. All right. Okay, let's get back to let's get back to the training slides. Okay, so we talked about fixing the funnel process. Now, the overall foundation of everything that we do is your pipeline. Okay, your pipeline means uh, who you have in your sales process, and at every stage of your sales process, if we think of your pipeline as people that just inquired. And then, this section we have people that you reached out to, people that you send information, people that you've made a presentation, people that are in the process of evaluation, people that you have to follow up with, and then of course you have clients. you must have you must have people, okay? You must have leads and prospects at every stage of your pipeline. You can never have first of all, you can never have an empty pipeline, right? And a lot of sales professionals have this problem, right? They get one meeting, they get one or two clients, and they're putting them through the presentation, the evaluation. They're trying to close the deal, right? And then when the deal closes, I closed the deal, but your pipeline's empty. Then you got to start over again. This is the phenomenon of what I call the roller coaster, or feast and famine. This month you have money, commissions. You eat good, and then you feel happy. You feel confident and strong, right? The next month you got no clients, and then it's like, damn, I got to eat Maggie mee again, right? You have to watch your pipeline. You can never, ever, ever have an empty pipeline. All right. For me, I have deals working at every stage. Uh, all the time I have deals working, and they're at different stages of my pipeline. In my pipeline, I always have new people inquiring. I always have, where we're doing presentation. I always have things working at every stage of the pipeline. All right. And it takes discipline to be able to do that. And some of you may say this. All right, some of you may say, just raise your hand if you've said this. Okay, uh, I need more discipline, right? Anybody said that? Yeah, I need more discipline. Actually, you don't need more discipline. All you need is discipline. Okay. So I'm gonna help you try and set you straight. And we got to fix our mindset. Discipline comes from our mindset, and in order for us to be to have a high survivability rate, last year, this year, and now moving forward, and possibly becoming more profitable, more successful, achieve more, right? We must have the championship mindset. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get you to go, yay, rah, rah, standing on chairs, clapping. I don't buy into that stuff. All right. Championship mindset is a very detailed and disciplined way of thinking. Okay, let's look into the current situation. The current situation is, pandemic, lockdown, restrictions, and it has impacted business, right? It has impacted most of us, right? So, in 2020 and 2021, how has everything changed? Have your customers changed? How many of you say that your customer has changed? Just raise your hand, right? Yeah, they have changed. So, how can we respond to that? You see, it's not going to be the same from this point. It's definitely not been the same, in 2020 and the first part of 2021. However, fundamentals do not change. It's how we react to the situation. It's how we tackle the situation that will allow us to not only survive but to increase our profitability and our level of achievement and success. Okay, the first thing you have to do is you have to remain positive. That's easier said than done, isn't it? Sometimes, like, we're in bed and then we're thinking, oh, you know what, a lot of headache, and I will share this with you. Okay, the one way to become and remain positive is not to make yourself be positive. Is to make yourself do activities that will lead you to have achievement and success. In order for you to have achievement and success, you must learn new skills. You must learn how to use social media. You must learn how to use. Uh, some of you say, "Oh, I already use social media." You must learn how to use these things the right way, the effective way. And you must constantly rehearse, you must constantly practice, and then you must take action every single day. Do not fear change. You be the change. How do you be the change? This is how you be the change. You learn new skills, you enhance your existing skills. All of us are business owners, entrepreneurs, sales professionals in some way, shape, or form, right? Okay? And if you tell yourself, you know what? Okay, bear with me a second here, all right? I'm I'm not saying that this is enough. Saying that I'm a winner, it's not enough. All right? You must decide to be a winner. So what does a winner really mean? Or what does being a winner really mean? It means that you have skills that you have. Any gap in skills, you must learn and you must practice and you must implement. All right. Uh, when things don't go right, all right, it's usually because we don't have a plan. So what we need to do is we need to make a plan. And making a plan can be as simple as, okay, from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to take example, yeah, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm going to do my cold calling. I'm going to do my prospecting. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., for example, I'm going to be doing my follow-ups. Uh, from after lunch, say from 1 to 1:30, I'm going to practice my objections. I'm going to practice my closing statements. Okay, so you must make your plan. You must make your daily plan. You must make your weekly plan, and then the hard part is implementing the plan. You have to remember that you are a marketer and a sales professional first before almost everything else. I mean, I know business owners that I've talked to in the last 3 months, last 6 months, right? And they say, "Oh yeah, we need to get more sales. We need to get more clients." And then so I asked them, "Okay, so how are you going to do that?" And the answer is like, "We need to do more R&D into our products. Okay, we need to create new products for the market." It's like, dude, you couldn't even sell what is your main product right now, and you wanna spend more time and money to R and D and create new products. No, okay. Learn and implement how to sell what you have now. At the same time, you can R and D and create new products. All right. The time for the theory, the time for wasting time, the time for not doing things that we need to do, it's over. If you're still thinking of that, if you're still doing that, damn, uh, it's over. Okay, we must focus on GTM, getting to market. We must focus on getting leads and prospects and clients. Okay, so if everyone is a sales professional, because we're all responsible for revenue, okay? If we're all responsible for revenue, you are a sales professional, okay? So as sales professionals, we must we must prospect and qualify. We must present and persuade. We must handle objections. We must close deals, and we must follow up. And what do we dislike to do? What do we dislike to do? We dislike to prospect and qualify. It's like presenting is like maybe that's the least hated of all these things, right? We present and we persuade, but we're not doing it the right way. We're presenting facts. We're telling about, oh, my company's 20 years old, and then we're in this building. The CEO is this, and that's not presenting and persuading. That's simply talking. We're going to fix that today. All right. Then we don't like to handle objections. Oh, we're afraid of objections. Why are we afraid of objections? Okay. I've been selling for 30 years. I've been training myself every single day on handling objections. And it's normal human nature when someone gives you an objection, it's like, right? and I'm practicing it every. I've written books on handling objection, handling objections, right? You know the cliches like a lot of people say, uh, are objections any good? And some people say raise their hand and they say, yeah, it's good because it's an opportunity. Yes, I agree with you, but do you take the opportunity or do you lose it? Okay, we're going to stop losing these opportunities today. I'm going to show you how we'll do that in the handling objection module. Okay, we must close deals. We must close deals earlier. Okay, when we're on this session, yeah, please. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but I knew for a fact that the large majority of us will say closing deals is hard. Closing deals takes a lot of effort. All right, we're going to flip that right now, where closing deals is the shortest amount of time and is the easiest part of your whole sales process. If we can put it that way in our minds, all right, we don't need to be afraid of trying to close the deal anymore. All right, and follow up. In fact, let me do this real quick. Just either a thumbs up or show of hands. How many of you love to follow up? Love to follow up. Okay. There must be some kind of medicine that you're taking, Ridwan and Jamaya. Okay. Now, when you follow up, do you get challenges when you follow up? Do you get excuses? Do you get people putting you off? Okay, we're gonna fix that today. All right. Let me get back to the one sec here. Okay, we need to have excellence in our minds and in the way that we behave, in the way that we interact with other people and the way that we interact with ourselves. I don't want you to answer this out loud. Okay. Um, if you think about it, the people around you are the people that are accepting or fulfilling their professional responsibilities with less than their best. What I mean by that is like, are they not performing? Okay. The issue with that is that today, and I actually started noticing this about 2 years, 3 years ago. Uh, Average is the new mediocre. Okay, we don't want to be average. We want to be better than average. Okay, mediocrity has become accepted, I believe, in our society. Okay, it's like, oh, they didn't hit the quota. It's okay. We give them another chance. You know what? I think my quota's too high. We need to lower it. Uh, you know, um, Everybody is doing 10 deals and I'm doing 11. So I'm better than them. We must rise above the average because we've kind of accepted that average, um, is the status quo. Average has become acceptable, and here's the beautiful part. Here's the beautiful part for all of us on this session now. If average is the new mediocre, your competition is not going to be doing the things that you are doing. Is not going to be having an overflow of leads. They're not going to be presenting, persuading effectively. They don't know how to handle objections. They don't know how to close. They're following up way, way less. They're following up at the average. We are going to be above average. All right. And if you think this is hard, I'm telling you it's not easy. It's very simple. It's simple to implement, but it's not easy. And on the days that it doesn't become easy, all right, I want you to think about why you're doing this, why you're doing what you do. You're doing it for your future, you're doing it for the security of yourself, and you're doing it for your family. All of us have families. Most of us have, well, actually, all of us have parents, right? Uh, some of us have children. Okay, so do you want to take care of your parents? Do you want to give your children a better future? If the answer is yes, stop being average. Just stop being average. Stop thinking more of when you can, finish work today, what time you can finish work. Stop thinking like, oh, I'm going to take a 1.5 hour lunch break. All right. Stop thinking of doing things that does not help you to improve your results, get more leads, and get more clients. If you learn nothing today, if you only learn one thing, what I'm going to share with you on the next slide is the one thing that you should learn. Okay? Top professionals identify the activities that give them the greatest results, and they focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. Okay? I want you to think about that again. Top professionals identify the activities that give them the greatest results, okay, and focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. I'm going to unshare right now. Let's have you put your video on. Guys, let's have you put your video on. I like to do a little bit of a Q&A right now. Okay? So, what what we just learned was top professionals identify the activities that give them the greatest results and they focus on those results with constant and consistent action. Okay? I want I want you to tell me. We'll do it in two parts. All right. We'll do the activities that give the greatest results. So, what are some of the activities that will give us the greatest results in our work and profession? Irene, Zoe, Linda, and Jiwei, can we put your video on if you're able to? And let's have some. All you got to do is unmute yourself and shout out what are some of the activities that give us the greatest results as sales professionals.
I think
Cassie,
Chris,
do you,
probably
go
practice
ahead,
like,
D.
okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think every day before we get up, probably one of the first things we can do is practice our scripts or something like that.
Right? Okay.
Just before, like first thing before having your coffee, maybe during your coffee, you know,
Right.
I
I
think that's
agree.
important.
I agree. Okay. Okay. So the activities that give us the greatest results are practice. And okay, now let me flip it a little. How many of you agree that practice makes perfect? How many agree practice makes perfect? Okay. Jamaya, you're smiling because you heard me say this before, right? Okay. Put your hands down. Practice does not make perfect.
Oh man.
Some of you are like, what? No, practice does not make perfect. What makes perfect is perfect practice. Okay? Perfect practice makes perfect. If you think about this, if you're practicing something wrong and you practice it for an hour every day, and then when it comes time to perform, are you performing or are you not performing? Obviously, you're not performing because you're doing something wrong because you practice it wrong, right? So practice is not enough. I would rather that you do practice, and it might be a little bit wrong because at least you're doing something, right? But what is better? What is better? What will bring you above average and above mediocrity is that you practice correctly. Perfect practice makes perfect. All right. So that was a little side. All right. So let's get on. What are the activities that you, as a business owner, as a sales professional, what are the activities that you do, okay, that will give the greatest results? All you're going to do is unmute yourself and mention something. Cassie, do you have something that you can? Oh, thank you for volunteering, Cassie. Is there something that you can share that will be in line with that?
Yeah.
How about you, Linda? What are the
Um,
activities that will give you the greatest results as a sales professional?
Study new method of marketing.
Okay, study new method. All right, I'll accept that for now. But of what are the activities of a sales professional that will give you the greatest results?
I think in general we need to meet the public or to meet out the people.
Right. So that would be meeting prospects and clients.
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome, Yan. Okay. So we're on the right track now. What else? What else do we have?
Persistent.
Uh, who said that?
Cassie here.
Cassie.
Persistency.
Okay. Now, persistent, yes, I agree. Uh, it's persistence is I would say it's more of a temperament and a determination, right? And we'll cover persistence in later on, Cassie. But that was awesome. What I'm looking for, maybe you can expand on that. What is an activity? What is an activity that you can do in your profession that will give you results?
I think we got to be focused on our goal and continue doing it without giving up.
Okay. And when you say focus on your goal and continue doing it, can you define the doing it? Irene, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So focus on doing what?
To list down what are things that you want to do, like for example, your prospect list and
Mm-hmm.
to find out your product USP, all this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So will those give us the greatest results in our daily efforts? Do you okay, you see guys, we're not doing this as I just present, okay? We need to start be thinking because sales is a thinking game. All right. So based on what Irene said, uh, does anybody have either a similar view or a different view from what Irene said? Ridwan, what do you think? Ridwan?
Decrease.
So what do you think, Ridwan? What Irene said was, list out the prospect list, list out the things that you can do. So my question for everybody again, my question is, what are the activities that we need to do as sales professionals that will give us the greatest results? Jan was on the right track.
List our clients and uh, always follow up and convince them.
Okay, I like the second part of your answer, the follow up and convince them, the follow up and persuasion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we're on the right track now. So follow up, correct?
Ask
Okay,
the right
what?
questions.
Very good. Okay, ask the right questions. When you ask the right questions, that be a component of during your follow up, during your presentation, during your handling objections, during your closing, correct, Cassie? Okay,
Yep.
so it, let's think about this. This is how I would answer the question, and then tell me if you kind of agree with my definition. First of all, we have to understand that we're wearing our sales sales professionals hat. Correct? Yes. Do we agree with that? Right. So if we are wearing a sales professional hat, this is what we have to focus on. You have to ask yourself this question: this particular activity that I'm doing right now at this moment, is it going to bring revenue in? Is it going to help me close a deal? Is it going to help me find a prospect or a client? Okay. Checking your email, does it help you do that? Yes or no? Just nod your head if it's yes, shake your head if it's no. So checking email helps you, just checking all your email helps you get client? Yes or no? It does. Just checking your email helps you get client. Gets client. Yes or no? No, it does not. Checking a specific email, yes, it does. All right. Organizing your files on your table, does that help you get clients? Yes or no? If it's yes, nod your head. If it's no, shake your head. No. Okay. Thinking about where you're going to go for lunch. Thinking about where you're going to go for lunch and then how long it's going to take to go there and come back. Does that help you get clients? Yes or no? Chit chatting with your coworker. Okay, most of us are working from home now, right? But chit chatting with your coworker before, okay, does that help us get a client? Yes or no? Okay, what helps you with getting a client? Picking up the phone and calling them, sending a specific email. Now, also this, doing paperwork, your reports. Most of us have to do reports at the end of the day or every couple of days, correct? Right? Writing reports, does that help you get a client? Yes or no? No, it does not. Writing a report does not help you get a client. What helps you getting a client? When you talk to a client, when you interact with a prospect. You have to start thinking of this, okay? You have to start everything that you do during the day. And I know it's harder because a lot of us work from home, right? You have to start thinking, this particular activity that I'm doing right now, is it going to help me? Is it going to help me close a deal? For those of you that know me a little bit, right? If I promise you paperwork, if I promise you documents, you usually get it in the evening. You usually get those documents in the evening. All right. The reason that you get them in the evening is because I do them in the evening. And the reason that I do them in the evening is because doing that particular document takes away time from my activities in generating a new prospect and generating a new client. I will tend not to do. I will do my very, very best not to do activities that does not help me get a client during what I call golden hours. Golden hours is usually between the hours of 9 to 5. Usually in your business, maybe a little bit different. If you're dealing with B2B, yes, 9 to 5, for example. If you're dealing with, let's say, tourists, let's say tour, you're dealing with more B2C, then your hours would be different. Then it might be, more evening time, right? Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Yes, if it, just give me a thumbs up or a wave if it makes sense. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start thinking this activity that I'm doing at this moment, checking my emails, sorting through. When I say check emails, this is what I mean. You check your email. Oh, this is spam. I can delete it. Clearing your inbox does not help you get a client. All right. So don't do that when it's time to get clients. Does that make sense, guys? Yes? Okay. Thank you all for sharing. Okay. Uh, let's see. Okay, awesome. Let's get back to the training slides. Okay. So we identify the activities that give us the greatest results. The greatest results would be finding a client, making a presentation, doing a follow-up call, closing the deal, prospecting. Those are activities that will give us results. And then the next part is focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. So, what does that mean? What does constant and consistent action mean? I'll give you an example. Uh, my company is 22 years old. Okay, I've been in sales and marketing for almost 30 years. I own this company. I have offices in well, here in KL, in the Philippines, and in my HQ is in the US. I have a team in the US. I have a team in Malaysia, and I have a team in the Philippines. Okay, what portion? Or let me ask you this: I have sales teams. I have the admin. All those um, functions are fulfilled, right? As the group CEO of my organization, do I still cold call? Do you think? How many think that I still cold call every day? Okay. For those of you that raised the hand, you already heard my answer before. I still cold call for 2 hours every day. Okay. Let me ask you this: in your position as a sales professional, okay, which is your job to find clients and to talk to them. Do you cold call for 2 hours a day? And you don't have it doesn't have to be cold call. It can be looking for new clients. Do you as a sales professional, as a business owner, devote 2 hours minimum of your day to finding new clients? If the answer is no, then you got to do that. Because what gives you the greatest results is finding prospects and putting them through your sales process to turn them into clients. That's what gives you the greatest results. Now, how many days a week should you do it? Just type in the chat for me. 1 day a week, or 2 days a week, or 3 days a week. Type your answer in the chat. How many days a week should you focus on finding new clients? How many days a week? I like Jens' answer, Linda's answer. Every day, very good. For those of you that said anything less than every day, it needs to be every day. Okay? You need to prospect every single day. And you need to do it constantly and consistently. And the reason that we need to do that is we must have a long-term mindset. The long-term mindset is what tells us our goals, our quota, how we take care of our family, the things that we want to achieve. That's the long-term mindset, and we must pair it with short-term, immediate actions. How many times have you said to yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later." Okay, I I very, very seldom will say I will do this tomorrow unless I plan it out. Okay? So I will do things and complete it as quick as I can, but not at the expense of talking to a potential new client. Okay? So we must have the long-term mindset with the immediate action. And here's how we can clear our mind. Hearing me say all these things, right? It's like, oh, all I do is like prospect. All I do is business. 24 hours a day, never sleep, 7 days a week. I used to have to do that. I used to sleep about 3 to 4 hours a day. Okay, and that's of course when I was younger. So how do you get a championship mindset? Championship mindset. What does a championship mindset really mean? What it means is that you're clear on what you want to achieve. You're clear on what you have to do in order to achieve those things. Okay, so I'll give you a list. I won't go through everything on this list. On this list, you're let's see. Rafi says it's good if we plan to list out potential clients once a week. The whole week, yes, I agree. I agree, Rafi. Whatever your schedule is on listing out the potential clients, and we'll actually talk about that in follow up as well. So, I'll share this with you. I don't sit down once a week and list out my potential clients. What I have is a list, and I constantly add to that list, and then I tackle that list every single day. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a series of things that you can do. All right, I'm not going to mention every single one on the list, but I want you to review it because you're going to get this on the YouTube link, and you're also going to get this on the PDF. You got to set your goals. All right, you have to plan and organize. Now, planning and organize, the subset of that is how do you set priorities? You set priorities on the high value activities, which is what we talked about earlier. What we talked about earlier was, identifying the activities that give you the greatest results, and you focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. When you do these things, and when you have some form of achievement, okay, um, you're going to be less stressed. You're going to have. I'm not going to say that it fixes your relationships. What I am going to say is that you don't have to fight and be stressed when you're off work, correct? When you have achievement, when you have a certain amount of success, right? Then you have to exercise, you have to have nutrition, you have to have relaxation and have time for yourself. Okay, for those that need to have relaxation when it's okay to travel, Jan is actually a walking tour guide in Langkawi. Rafi is in Kuala Terengganu. He does camping trips. He does fishing trips. If you want to have if you want to have relaxation and time to rejuvenate for yourself, get in touch with Jan and Rafi. Now, the next thing that I want to share with you. Okay, we talked about somebody said discipline, right? Somebody said discipline earlier. We don't need to be smarter than your competition. We don't need to be smarter than your coworkers. We do not need to be smarter than everyone else. Okay? Because what does being smarter really mean? What it means is that you just know more stuff, right? But is knowing more stuff enough? Right? Knowing more stuff is not enough. Taking action in the right areas, that is the key. And to be able to take action in the right areas, which is the foundational key, we must have discipline, consistency, implementation, and action. All right. Let, let me stop share for one quick second here. Okay. Uh, let's have a little interaction right now. Now, raise your hand if you think that you need more discipline. And then you know what's funny? I've asked this question. I know, Cassie, Zoe, Jiwei, Irene. Yes or no? Do you need more discipline? Yes. Okay, thumbs up. All right. So, how do you get more discipline? Is there something we can buy, or is there a book that we can read that will give us more discipline? Is there? Because I haven't found one yet, and I've been searching. Okay. Having discipline, yeah. It comes from CEO. I don't know what that is. Depending, okay, CEO. D, I don't know what CEO is. Okay. Cassie, depending on the mood, all right? We must remove emotion out of it. We must. How many times have don't answer this out loud, just smile or like he chuckle, right? Or giggle, right? How many times have you said this in your working time? I need to call this guy to follow up. but I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. I see you smiling, Linda. Jemaya smiling. Yana wants to smile, but she's scared that I will call her name, correct? Okay? Because we allow our emotion, allow our emotion to determine our actions. And that's a very dangerous thing. Because here's what I believe. I believe I believe that I'm quite a lazy person. I am, okay? Some of us think that we are lazy, we like to relax and whatnot, right? I will tell you that I'm an extremely lazy person. For those that for those of you that know me, you're going, no, I don't think so, right? But how do I fight against that? I fight against that with discipline, but even better than discipline, I fight that with what I call regimentation. Regimentation means I list out the things that I need to do today, tomorrow, the day after, the whole week. I list out the things that I need to do, and then on my calendar, when those things appear, if it says that you must cold call now from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., do you know what's my reaction when I see that 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is cold call? It's not, yeah, it's time to cold call. I don't do that. I go, shit, it's time to cold call again. That's what I say because it's I've been cold calling for 27 years. Okay, it's my least favorite activity in my life. Okay, it's uh, it's the 2 hours every day that I absolutely do not look forward to at all. If I allow my laziness to take over, I would say, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. I'll just do it tomorrow. But the discipline and the regimentation, it doesn't allow me to do that. It makes me follow my calendar because I've trained myself to follow my calendar. And if my scheduler says 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. cold call, then that's what I do. Now, then some of you are saying, "Oh, if I cold call, what if I follow up? What if they ask me to call back at 9:30?" You don't make your follow up calls between 9 to 11, unless they specifically say, "I'm only free out of the 7 days of next week. I'm only free on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m." But that's usually never the case, is it? Right? We control when we follow up. We need to take the lead. Okay? Did Ladies and gentlemen, did that make sense? Just give me a wave if okay. We're gonna do an exercise in a while. All right? We're gonna do an exercise in a while, and I'll explain that exercise. In fact, I'm gonna add one thing here. Uh, okay, we're gonna do an exercise. What in a while? I'm gonna break you out into rooms. Let's see. There are let's see, 19 minus 2, 3, 19. There's 16 of us, well, including me, 17. There's two others which are just, admin and recording. I'm going to break us up into breakout rooms. We'll try to have two or three in each room. But before we do that, we're going to do that constantly throughout the day. Okay, and some of you thought that you were just here to, like, watch some guy talk on the screen like a interesting TV show, right? Okay, no, there's work to be done. All right. So we'll do those exercises, group exercises constantly throughout the day. All right. So let's get back to the training slides. Oh, if anybody needs to get a drink, use the bathroom, just feel free to go ahead and do that. All right. Uh, we'll take our lunch break somewhere between 12:15, and then we'll break for an hour, and then we'll come back. But as we get closer to time, we'll take our lunch break right around there. Okay. And if you feel like you need to take a coffee or have a snack or whatever it is, feel free to do that. It's okay to do it on the camera, uh, but we won't take any formal breaks until lunchtime. All right. And then Kay, I don't know what you were eating earlier, but it looked really delicious. So if you can send it to everyone, we would all appreciate that. Okay. Everyone, just send your address to Kay. He'll try to get it arranged. No, hey, I'm kidding. Yeah, don't send your address to Kay. He's not going to send any food, even if we ask him nicely. Okay, let's get back to the slides. Okay, so we don't need to be smarter. We just need to have discipline and consistency. I would rather you see, earlier one of the things I said was I don't really have a lot of talent. All right. I also do not have high education. In fact, I did very badly in school. In my over 40 years ago. Uh, but what I did was I realized that I'm not as smart as a lot of people that I come across. So what I did was I made up for it in talent. Sorry, I made up for it in skills. I have skills that I've learned over the last 20, 25, 30 years that I put in a lot of effort in learning those skills, but learning those skills is not enough. What you need to do is you need to implement, well, you need to practice, and then you need to implement. Now, for those of you that are saying that, oh, I need massive results, uh, and but I don't know how to get there. The answer to getting massive results is okay. Let's use the cold calling as an example. I cold call 2 hours a day. Sometimes 90 minutes, depending on my schedule. But it's what I determine my schedule to be. Okay, so let's say it's 90 minutes, right? So, is it better to cold call for 90 minutes at least 3 times a week, or is it better to cold call for 6 hours once every 2 weeks? Which is better? Just type in the chat. Is it better to cold call every day for 90 minutes, or is it better to cold call for 8 hours a day once every 2 weeks? Right. Okay. Now, is it better to cold call for 30 minutes a day, all right, every day for a whole month, or is it better to let me rephrase the question. Is it easier to cold call for 30 minutes a day for 30 days, or is it easier to cold call for 10 hours in one day in the whole month? So the answer is 30, or whole day. 30, right? Which comes to the next point. The next point is this: small changes, small actions with daily action gives you massive results. You don't have to go from, if you're not hitting quota right now, if you're not getting the amount of revenue or clients that you want right now, you don't need to go from 0 to 1,000. Okay, you just need to do small changes every single day. All right, um, to handle objections like a master. Okay, you don't need to go and study and learn 50 ways to handle an objection in one day. What you do is you learn one or two a day for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. You learn one or two a day, and then every day you learn one or two. And then when you hit the 50, that's 25 days. And then you decide out of those 50, which are the 10 that you want to focus on. And that's how small changes plus daily action gives you massive results. Because all of us want to achieve success, and we want to have massive achievement. Correct? Right? But in order to be able to do that, you see, you don't attend today. You don't attend today and then become a sales champion tomorrow. Like today's training is awesome, but you cannot attend today and then become a sales champion tomorrow. What you do is you attend today and you implement and you add into your daily activities, and then in 1 month, in 2 months, or 3 months, or 6 months, or 1 year, then you become a sales champion. Okay? Now, we're going to do this. Let's see. Let me check one thing first. Oh, hold on. We're going to do a mindset exercise. And okay, so let me explain how we're going to do that. For 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, I'm going to break you all up into rooms. There will be 2 or 3 of you in a room. Okay. Now there's let's see, there's Muhammad Saiful, CKR, and Zach Sai. Those are non-interacting accounts. All right. So if any of those 3 ends up in your room, you don't need to worry about those. So I'm going to break you up into rooms, and I'm going to visit those rooms. This is what you're going to do. Okay. You're going to tell whoever is in the room with you. What I'd like you to do is put your video on so that you can have a conversation with the other participants in the room. Okay, so Cassie, Jiwei, Serwi, and Rafi, if possible, put your video cameras on when you end up in the room. All right? What you're going to do is you're going to tell each other how you can become more disciplined. And we'll leave that up to your interpretation. And then, once you answer that, I want you to tell the other people in the room how what are the 2 activities that you will focus on in the next 14 days every day. What are the 2 activities you will focus on every day for the next 14 days that will give you the greatest results? We're not looking for, oh, I need to learn how to do this and that. We're looking for action. We're looking for implementation. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if it makes sense. Just one hand is enough, Kay. Not 2 hands. Okay. Cassie, Zhiwei, Setong, Irene, I need you to put your videos on before I break you all up into your rooms. I'm getting the rooms set up now. I will visit your rooms. I may not get to. Kay, it's like you non-stop eating, but it's okay. Continue eating. Perfectly fine. I'm just giving you a hard time. Next time, you send to my address before we start. All right? Okay. Okay. I'm going to put you in the rooms. I will visit as many rooms as I can. Don't feel offended if I don't end up in your room. So it is now 10:48 by my clock. At 11 a.m., I'm going to stop the rooms, and then we're all going to come back in. Make sense? Yes? Wave your hand if it makes sense. Okay, awesome. Just give me 10 seconds to get this set up. So 17, 17, 17, let's see, 19, 19, okay, we'll set up 6 rooms. Okay, I'm getting everyone to go into the different breakout rooms right now. You will get a message that says join room. Just click on that. Okay, Sylvie, did you put your video on and so that you can have a conversation with Farah and Nabila? Maybe introduce yourselves real quick and then go through the two things that we talked about. And I'm going to excuse myself and I'll be in another room. I might come back. All right.
Hi Farah, I'm Zivi from Ringgit Plus. So I'm
Mhm.
In regimentation or in a schedule. I think in the schedule, because once we wanted to do our activity in term of let's say cold call, I think once it turned into a habit, it would be much easier.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm an executive coach, so if it's okay, I would like to go last. Is that okay, Jiwei?
Sure.
Okay, so Jiwei, how would you like to, can you share with us what you think?
So for me, right, to be disciplined, right, it's quite a very challenging things for me, because right now, right, I'm working from home, so
Mhm.
it it's more challenging for me to like follow my tasks. I mean, follow up things. So I think to be disciplined, right? Everyone has its own way of to be disciplined, because I
Mhm.
think since everyone is different, so I think for me, right, what works is to set up a to-do list and then make sure myself to follow the to-do list every day. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you weren't moving, so you would just consider making a to-do list, right?
Yeah.
And you will follow it. Now, let me ask you something, both of you, and yeah, when was the last time you said you're gonna do something and didn't do it?
Can't recall, to be honest.
But have we done it before?
Yeah, I tried to, but to make this as a consistent routine is another challenge part for me as well.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Yan
Yeah.
said he wants to try to do it and regiment it as much as possible, right? Write it down and just do it, right? And
I think of course in everything that we do there is challenging. There will be a challenge.
Okay.
So tak boleh nak advertise dekat FB dah sekarang ni. Kita kena advertise dekat web lah. So
Okay.
advertise kat my IG, my TikTok.
Oh, okay. Because like we are Ringgit Plus, we are a digital vendor. So we are doing digital advertising. Like we are like a digital agency.
Now I'm under Pharma.
Kau tak bising?
Duduk kat mana tu?
Apa dia? Duduk dekat rumah Yana. Tu. Lepas tengah meeting kan tu.
Okey.
Apa ni, dia bising sikit. Dia dengan tim dia. Dia dalam grup 5. Okay. Apa nama K punya... Apa yang K akan buat? Sepatutnya K start semalam.
Think by doing that we can improve our discipline actions. Like if we have a tough time, so I think we started small, we started slow. At least we start to build the habit in the long run. I know it's easier to say than done.
Linda.
Yeah.
Linda, what type of your business?
I'm into training. I'm an image consultant.
Image
So
consultant.
yes, yes, yes. So I also need to close deal. I also need to meet client. I also need to, because it's my own business. So I need to be more proactive.
Oh, so you list down all your prospect early in the morning lah. So maybe I can, so you want to type in the chat there or how? List down the prospect.
I write in chat.
Yeah. And what else? So for me, how to be disciplined is wait, let me think. Sometimes when I feel demotivated, I will read some motivational book. But that one is when I'm free, not every day. Early in the morning.
Like what books, Cassie?
Wow, I have a couple of books. It's all sales
Just
relevant.
just the last one that you read.
Oh, how to be a good leader.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wati?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you come up with for discipline?
First, follow what I'm listing. What I'm list.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you all were discussing already, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, everyone, list down your prospects every morning. So you list down the prospects that you will be talking to today. Example.
Yeah.
Is that right, Ridwan? When
Yes,
you say
sir.
list down, okay. Okay. All right, continue. I think I have one last room to get to.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. So what did y'all come up with?
Sorry, we were just chit-chatting and we actually forgot about the question.
Okay. So the question is, how can you be more disciplined? And what are the one or two activities that you can add to your daily activities that will give you better results now?
Okay. So for me is I will set my wake up time every day
Okay.
without fail at 8 a.m. so that
All right.
my days will be longer because I'm doing
Right.
sales. So I will set my cold calling time like 2 hours per day. For example, like especially in the morning.
Right.
So that probably people will start cold calling after lunchtime, but I will start in the morning first. So
Right.
that after lunchtime I'll do like follow-up works, sending proposals and all that. So
Okay.
I normally will arrange my time like that. Yeah, so that
Okay.
I'll just follow, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Farah Nabila?
For my business, actually, Mr. Chris, the LR Empire is not my business, and
I know.
I'm just helping like Sister Laila Rahman. You know.
Right. Yes, I know.
So, and my every day I'm just working as the supervisor, not in business actually.
Okay. So, what are your responsibilities?
For update in for daily update in Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. What else?
Then just call. No, I don't do that.
Why not?
Because I think because we have a team, but I'm like in the team, I'm doing everything online.
What do you mean by everything?
tak semua bagi kerjasama. You faham?
Faham.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So,
you semua pun buat kan?
yes.
Give me example because so far you only said the Facebook, the Instagram.
Yes.
What else? Lagi apa?
Lagi macam jumpa custom. For editing. Editing product. Just
Okay.
like
So in your case, how I would interpret, all right, is you decide what are the things that you need to do. Okay, for example, should you spend more time on posting on Facebook and interacting on Facebook or editing? Correct?
Yes, correct.
So you should spend more time on Facebook, Instagram, and interaction engagement rather than editing and then
Yes.
go onto Facebook, correct?
Yes,
So that's
correct.
how I would interpret that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I will leave you ladies for a minute and then I'll open up the main room. Okay, everybody's back. Can I get one or two victims, volunteers, to share what was discussed in your room? And for the volunteers that share, you will actually get a little bit more benefit out of the exercise just by the simple act of sharing. So who would like to go first? Okay, let's see. It was a tie between D and K. I'm going to get K to go first, all right? Because D is just a little bit more handsome. So we try to help the. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Kay. Let's share your thoughts on the exercise.
Okay, just now I got lucky because I can be a group with Yeti. So just two of us. So very romantic. Okay. Sorry, Yeti.
She will knock your head, you know.
Okay, so what just I share with Yati is I share with her what can make me more disciplined. So I said to her, I must set a goal and try to achieve it.
Try
to achieve my goal.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the goal?
My goal is first to settle all my debts,
right,
and get a better life with my family.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's the goal. So how are you going to achieve that? What's the daily actions that you will take to achieve that?
Okay. For the first 14 days, starting from tomorrow, I will do three things. First, I will do the online on FB. Second, I will do the sales canvassing. And third,
Right.
I will do the cold call. So
Okay.
right now, like I just share with Yati, today in one day I will do 7 posts in my wall, Facebook wall,
Right.
and then I will also try to join 400 groups in FB. So I will
Okay.
also, when I post into my wall, I also will post into the groups.
Right.
So for example, 8 a.m. I will greet Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. And then 10 a.m. I will share positive quotes. In the afternoon, I will share what I eating and I will ask them what they have for their lunch.
Okay.
And then for 2 p.m. I will share a little bit, maybe good tips for them. And 5 p.m. I will share my product a little bit.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
Here's my thoughts on that. All right.
Okay.
You will not be able to maintain that pace. Okay. You have to understand a couple things. First of all, you say that you want to be part of 400 groups. All right.
Yeah.
Which is very, very doable because I'm part of over 500 groups. Okay. Do you know how long it takes to post to one group or how long it takes to post to 30 groups? You have a few logistical challenges. You have a few limitations from Facebook. But putting that aside, let's say in the groups you only post once a day, for example, it will still take you 3 to 4 hours to do it, minimum. All right. Then you have the 7 posts. You have to be disciplined in being able to do that. Now, what is the tool that you would use that to help you post 7 times a day?
I will use Hootsuite.
Correct. Okay. So you can prepare all those things. That's the first one. Now you have to understand this also. We tend to use all of us, yeah. And this is no offense to the Ringgit Plus Jinexu guys and gals. All right. We tend to hope that social media is our savior. We tend to hope that I post this and then I get clients if it goes viral. Yes, you can get clients and whatnot. What is your competition doing? Your competition is doing the same thing. They post and then they hope to get clients, right? What your competition is not doing is picking up the phone and calling a client or a prospect. What your competition is not doing is, like you said, canvassing. When you say canvassing, I would assume that you go and knock on someone's door. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know that canvassing is one of the, I said cold calling, right? Canvassing, knocking on someone's door, is the most hated activity of sales professionals.
Yes.
It's the most hated activity. It's like we will die before we do that. That's what your competition is not doing. The point of what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that do the things that your competition is not doing. Okay? The things that your competition is doing, do more and do better than them. Does that make sense? That's how you rise above your competition. I'll give you a very quick example here. Okay, there are so-called speakers in all over the place. They will do one free event, try to get 1,000 million people onto that one event. They will probably spend about 200,000 on advertising to get you into that event, and then they sell you something for 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, whatever it is. And it's to me, it's worth crap. All right. And for those of you that know me, you know how we did this. We hardly spend anything. In fact, I think we spend nothing on Facebook. All right. It was all organic. We did a series of 10 or 12 events. And then we gave you a choice of 2 events. All right. We charge what, 200? We charge 200 ringgit for you to be here today. That's all we charged. I'm not hard up for 200 ringgit. All right. Some of you know this. Okay. Then you also have a choice of the 20th. For those of you here today, you can attend this event again on Saturday at no extra charge. And you may want to attend because right now what I'm saying I'll probably be saying something different on Saturday. All right. So you have to be different from your competition. Okay, you're with Digi. Your competition is, you have three competition. I'm going to share with you what they are, and this is the same for all of us. All right. Your first competitor is yourself. Okay. Your first competitor is yourself, because you're fighting against yourself with, and not, I don't mean to be rude, no disrespect. This is all of us, right? We're fighting against our own discipline or ill discipline. We're fighting against our own self doubts. We're fighting against our own laziness, our own lack of skills, our own lack of action. That's who we're fighting against with most of the time. Then you're fighting against, in your case, you're fighting against Yana. You're fighting against Yana. Yana is your competition. Every other rep in DG is also your competition. Okay, whether you realize it or not. All right. Then your next competition is the Maxis, the U Mobile, whoever else you have. You have three levels of competition. So the easiest to fight against is the U Mobile, the Cellcom, is the outside competition, because a lot of them, ladies and gentlemen, your competition is scratching their head on how to get clients, and they're scratching their head because they're going, I don't feel like cold calling. The things that you are thinking of, they are thinking of. The things that you don't feel like doing, they are not doing. Okay? For you to be better than your competition, you have to eradicate, those things and perform better than them. That's the easiest part. We all think that we must kill our competition and we must be better than them. No, it's so easy to be better than your competition. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Okay. The next one you have to fight with is, this is a little bit harder, is your competition in your company. Okay. You have to look at you have to look at this. All right. Your quota that you have. Some of us have quotas, especially if we're in companies. I make my own personal quota. I give myself a quota. Okay. You have to think of this, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever quota that you have in your company right now is too low. It's too low. This is how I define a quota in a big company. All right. The quota is what you must hit this month to keep your job for next month. Okay. That is my definition of quota. Now, I'm not saying that, you must raise the quota all the time. Your quota must be a little bit out of reach for you to sweat a little bit to be able to reach it. Okay. Your other competition, the people in your company, they're also thinking. I don't feel like doing this. Why is it so hard? They're thinking of all those things. So that's the next one that is a little bit easier to overcome. Okay. The other thing is that everyone is like average, everyone is mediocre, and if you close one more deal over everyone else, you're like the champion. I'll share this story with you. I worked with a guy. His name was Ray. Okay. This was in the U.S. Ray is African American. Very boisterous, very outgoing. Very arrogant, and all those things, right? The typical African American. So he was the number one salesperson. I was the supervisor. He was the number one salesperson in that group. All right. So he was always saying that I'm the champion and I'm this. Until one day I told him, I said, Ray, you are the champion. You are the best. But the reason you're the best is because everyone is lousy. That's why you're the best in the group. It's because everybody else is crap. And that's where I invented this term. Have you all heard of cream of the crop? Okay. I invented this term in 1999. I believe. Okay. And I said, you're not the cream of the crop. You're actually the cream of the crap. That means you're the best among these crap people. Why do you want to be the cream of the crap and say that you're the best among these low performers, these mediocre? Make yourself, don't be one or two levels higher than the average and the mediocre. Make yourself way higher, okay? And the more difficult competitor to fight with, and this is how you become way higher than everyone else, is that you compete with yourself. When you compete with yourself, okay, now you know discipline. Now you know don't feel like doing this. Now you know how to not be lazy. How you know prioritize. Challenge yourself. I will tell you how I challenge myself. Okay, I don't always succeed. Okay, but this is how I challenge myself. I will say that I must perform better and achieve more than I did yesterday. I must do more, achieve more, and bring in more revenue next month than I did this month. Next quarter must be better than this quarter. Next year must be better than this year. Okay, and if you want to drill it down a little bit more, um, you know, the next hour, in the next hour, for example, in the next hour, I must do better than I did in the last 60 minutes. Okay, and this is how you challenge yourself. Screw the competition. The competition is the competition. They're going to do what they do. If you want to have the same results as your competition, then just do the same thing, right? If you wanna perform the same as your co-workers or your peers, okay, then do the same thing. If you want to cry, and I'm not saying that you'll do, but if you want to cry and whine about, oh, I want more clients, oh, I need to close more deals, oh, I wish I had more money, oh, I wish I had quota, then don't do the things that you've been doing for the last 3 to 6 months. Do better. Okay. Dee, you have something that you wanted to share? Go ahead, please.
Oh no, I just volunteered for my group, that's all. But if Yan or Siwei would like to talk, they're more than welcome to do it.
Thank you for volunteering that. Yan, Siwei, is it?
Siwei.
Siwei.
Siwei, yeah.
Siwei.
But if you guys want to say something, Yan, you're welcome.
Hi everybody. I was with T and Ziwei just now, and at first, yeah, how to discipline ourselves just now, and I was agree with what Chris said, and I think I was very attracted toward regimen, and we agree that we need to create a good habit. Every day we do the same thing regimentally, and then only we can get ourselves this discipline. But Ziwei, Ziwei bring up this. I think Ziwei will talk about it. All right, that's all. Habit and regimentation. Yeah.
Okay. I'll share this with you. Regimentation is easier to implement or to do than discipline. Because discipline, you have to think about, like, oh, I must do this, I must do this. And then you must make yourself do it, right? Regimentation, to me, what it means is that you create a schedule, whether you feel like it or not, you just follow that schedule. To me, that's regimentation. I wake up at the same time, Monday through Friday. Uh, I wake up at the same, for every Saturday, I wake up at the same time. For every Sunday, I wake up at the same time. My activities are very regimented in the sense that I know exactly. Dee knows this the best. Okay, on every day at a certain hour, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So whether I feel like it or I don't feel like it, I do it. Right? Jiwei, do you have things that you want to share since you were volunteered by two members of your group?
Yeah, I think even though if you like list down the schedule, right, it is still very challenging
It can
especially
be.
if you have to do it every day.
Right.
Yeah, with so many distraction and issues, you get distracted. I mean,
Right.
yeah, so it's very challenging for me lah.
Okay. So how do you think you would overcome that?
Like I said, maybe I would reward myself if I get to fulfill the to-do list every day.
Yes,
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
that's one of the way that I can do for myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? That's exactly what I do. Exactly what I do when I complete a certain unenjoyable task or a hated task, I'll give myself a reward. Okay. Anybody else want to share before we move on to the next module? This is your chance to share. Yeah.
Can I share?
Yes, Linda. Of course.
Okay, I was with Yana and Rafi in our
That's a good
breakout
group to be
room.
in.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah, I feel so too. And so because I think most of us are having tough time to stay disciplined. So
Right.
we suggested that perhaps we start small steps by doing like
Yes.
to do probably like half day morning. We start to have plans for ourselves. So we start small. But make it consistent. So as we improve, we start to build our plans bigger, better. So from there we start to build a habit. So I
Right.
think for probably the first 14 days, coming 14 days, we can start to do that for ourselves. Try to do
Right.
small thing first because it's saying is easier than done. So
Right.
try to push ourselves to do small steps so we can do bigger things.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll share this with you. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to push yourself. You just got to do it, right? I'll give you an example. I changed something this week in my life. All right. Uh, how would I put this? Okay, I will say this. First of all, for those of you that have not seen me before, I look like a big guy, right? Right? Yes. Why you agree so fast, Linda? It's not nice. It makes me feel hurt, you know. Okay. Um, I will find a picture. Hold on, yeah. Let me do this.
Usually big guys are friendly guys.
At all, then I'm not friendly at all.
I beg to differ.
Okay, I'm gonna show you this, but I'm not gonna play it as a video. It's a little unclear, but I'll share this so that y'all can take a look at it, and then I'll explain why I share that. Can y'all see? Yes?
Yes.
Some of you are like, wow, right? I'm 51. I'll be 51 in July. Okay? That picture that you see on your screen, I'm 33, 34 years old. Okay? And I looked that way until about 3 years ago. So let me unshare because I feel I want to punch that guy when I see that picture. Okay? So I changed something this week. I won't go into a whole long story, but this is what I changed. Uh, I was buying lunch every day, and this is how regimented I am because I can block out things in my mind. All right, I was buying lunch, and I was buying the same lunch Monday through Friday. I was eating the same thing for lunch every single day. The same. I won't tell you what I eat, but that's what I'm eating. Okay, because I'm able to discipline myself that I can eat the same thing every day for lunch, and it's at the same time every day. All right. Um, I also have a rowing machine, an exercise machine, and I'm going every day except Saturday. I go for a walk slash jog 4 kilometers, starting at 5 p.m. every single day. On Sunday, I go double. That means I can go between 8 to 10 kilometers, and I start at 4:30. Do I enjoy going for a walk every day at 5 p.m.? I can tell you, no, I do not. All right. So then I also do an exercise every hour, whether it's a bicep curl or a push up or a burpee, whatever it is.
Okay, that's why I like training days. Training days I don't do the every hour. Okay, but I did and then I added uh, between 200 and 300 reps on the rowing machine. That means I have to wake up a half an hour earlier, and it's something that I disliked. Okay, now regarding the lunch, I changed it where I'm eating granola. Basically, I'm eating cardboard. Okay, for lunch every day. All right. So, but I'm seeing even faster and quicker results even just after a few days. All right. It was like in my mind it was like, man, I wish I was eating my regular lunch, and then when I see the bowl of granola, I said, who put freaking cardboard and paper in my bowl? I have to eat paper. All right. That's what it felt like. Then every hour, it's like my alarm goes off. It's like, again. And then I go and I do an exercise for 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. Okay. The first reaction is not, yeah, it's time to eat cardboard. It's not, yeah, it's time to go and exercise every hour. That's not the first reaction. The first reaction, excuse my language, is fuck again. That's my first reaction. And that's the first cuss word I said today, which is a huge improvement, and more will come today. All right. But that's my first reaction. It's like, oh, but whether I feel like it or I don't feel like it, I do it. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? You don't need to say, oh, you know what? I need to get excited about. That's the BS that people tell us. It's like, oh, to do it, you got to get excited to do it. No, you don't need to get excited. You just got to do it, and you just got to do it well. Because I've written books on cold calling. I've trained cold calling for 20 years, but I hate cold calling. I'm good at it, but I hate it. Okay, I'm doing that activity not because I enjoy it. I'm doing that activity because it gives me results. And that's what we have to get away from. We as human beings, we like to do activities that we enjoy, right? So, and we don't like to do activities that we don't like. What I'm saying is that you take the emotion out of the activities that you need to do in order to be successful so that you can enjoy at a later stage. Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, just give me a wave if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Let's see. How about Jiwei, Zoe, Irene? Make sense? Just give me a thumbs up or just type yes in the chat for me so I know we're on the right track because we're going into the next module right now. Okay, awesome. Let me get back to the training slides. Let me check one thing real quick. Okay. Okay, so let's get into prospecting. I'm going to show you something on the next training slide, and I want you to get ready to type in which you prefer. All you got to do is type in A or type in B, and the context of this is the person that you see in either picture is you. You as the business owner, as a sales professional, as the revenue generator. I had one young lady earlier say, oh, she doesn't really do sales, but she's responsible for other things in her organization. So then you would be a revenue generator, right? So business owner, sales professional, or revenue generator. And for those of you that are not in that category, you actually should be, because every person in your company, if you are the owner, every person in your company should be a revenue generator or contribute to revenue. You know, we've done trainings for a couple banks and organizations where they're training all levels of their people to be able to generate revenue. Okay, so I want you to look at the next slide. It's going to be A or B, and I want you to think about this. All right, think of the, well, I'll show you. So picture A. Okay, he's fishing for fish, and we are fishing for prospects and clients, right? Okay, and then we have picture B. He's on a boat in a lake with multiple rods in the water. So would you rather be prospecting picture A or picture B? Picture A or picture B? Everybody's gotta give me an answer, because I'm not gonna move on until we do. This is also a way to make sure that you're not sleeping. Okay. Would anybody type in A? I don't think so, right? Nobody will type in A. But the reality of the situation is most of us are doing A. We all want B, but we're doing A because we're searching for prospects in the wrong place. We're searching for prospects that cannot become a prospect. We all want B, but we're doing A. So we're gonna fix that in this module. All right. And first, I want to share this with you. In 2019, I couldn't find any stats more recent than 2019, and I believe that the numbers that you see on your screen are actually inaccurate, and I'll explain why. All right. So, but anyway, according to the study, in 2019, 67% of salespeople had less or generated less than 250 leads in the whole year. I believe the percentage of salespeople is higher and the number of leads that they generate is lower. All right, but let's use this. So 60%, 67% of salespeople generated less than 250 leads in the whole of 2019. Now this was averaged out. Of course, if let's say you're dealing with a huge clients, Fortune 500, you will have less leads. All right, but let's discuss this. All right, how many days are there in a typical year? Just type in for me. How many days are there in a typical year? Yes, 365, right? So in a typical year, yes, Linda, 365. So in a typical year, 250 leads, you're generating less than one lead per day in the whole year. All right. If we were to break that down, 250 divided by 12, I would imagine that's about 20 leads a month. All right. 20 leads a month. Is it enough? Because 250 sounds like a lot, right? But 20 to 22 leads a month, if that's what you're generating. Now, let's run these numbers. The typical closing ratio of any salesperson, the average salesperson is about 20%. Okay, so if you're generating 20 leads a month and your closing ratio is 20%, which is actually a little bit high for the average salesperson, so 20% would be 4 sales a month. Now, for some of us, 4 sales a month would be okay. But for most of us, is 4 sales a month enough, right? I know for most of us, 4 sales a month is not enough, especially if the quota is, 10 or 20 or 30, all right? So there's a couple things that we can do. We can improve our closing ratio and make our closing ratio 30% or 40% or 50%. We've trained sales professionals where we brought the closing ratio all the way up to 70%. We've taken companies that were generating X amount of revenue a month, and we turned them into $1 million revenue generator. We took a company that was generating $35 million in revenue a year, and within 6 months, we put them at double, more than double, $76 million dollars in revenue in 6 months. Okay, so you can get better at closing deals, or you can generate more prospects. Now, if you double the number of leads that you got, let's say from 250 you doubled it to 500, that would mean that you generate 50 leads a month. And if you think about it, 50 leads a month, if you work Monday through Friday, that would be 12, right? 12, about 12 leads generated per week. Now, it's not qualified or unqualified yet. Okay, they're just leads. Now, if let's say your closing ratio was 20%, okay, and you generated 50 leads a month at 20% closing ratio, you would close what? 10 deals? You close 10 deals a month. You more than doubled your results. Okay, let's put a dollar figure on it. Let's just say, for a simple example, you make $100 for every sale. With 20 leads at a 20% closing ratio with 4 sales, you're making 400, right? At 50 leads a month at 20%, you're closing 10 deals a month, you're making 1,000. That's without improving your closing ratio. Okay, so just by slightly doubling the number of leads without improving anything else, you more than doubled your revenue. What does that mean? What that means is, ladies and gentlemen, if you improved in nothing else, you didn't improve in building rapport, you didn't improve in being a more persuasive presenter, you didn't improve in handling objections, you didn't improve in closing or follow-up. All you have to do in order to be more successful is get more leads. Does that make sense? It's like mind-boggling, isn't it? All you got to do is focus on getting more leads. And that is one of the activities that you should focus on in order to get better results. Because lots of leads solves lots of problems. If you got no leads, you got nobody to talk to. If you got nobody to talk to, you got nobody to sell to. All right. Now, I'm gonna go through this list with you. This is the ultimate strategy of prospecting. All right, and we'll go through each one. I'll go through each one with you. You need to know who your exact customer is. What is the problem that they have? What is the solution that you provide? What is the price? What is the value? Guys, price and value is very different. All right. Then what is the call to action? The call to action doesn't need to be, are you going to buy the closing? The call to action could be, take this action or take the next step. What is your follow-up process? And then you have to know your competition. Give me a thumbs up or a wave because I can see you. If you want to go into each of these in detail, just give me a wave. Okay. The first is you need to identify your exact customer. When you are able to identify your exact customer, you want to think of what we call the low-hanging fruit. Do you know what that means, low-hanging fruit? It means that, okay, think of like, let's say, mangoes or rambutan or bananas, right? Okay, like when picking fruit, do we try to reach the highest fruit on the highest branch? No, we reach the fruit that we can just reach up and we can grab, right? That's what we call low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit means is you don't need much effort to be able to harvest. And that's exactly what I mean when I say we need to identify the exact customer. So we identify the exact customer and we figure out how easy or difficult it is to get in touch with them. Now, when you get in touch with them, you want to think about who can I help right now? Who can I help right now or who needs my help right now. You see, here's the distinction between the two. Who can I help right now is they recognize that they have an issue or they have a problem. Who needs your help right now is they need your help, but they don't realize it. Okay? So we're going to do this. We're going to do an exercise later, and you're going to identify who your perfect client is. Because some of us, we think we know who our perfect client is, but you don't really know. Okay? Okay, so not every single one of these criteria is going to be relevant for you, but you must be able to know who your perfect client is, how old they are. Why do we need to know age and gender at the bare minimum? Okay, we need to know age and gender at the bare minimum because how you talk to a 20-year-old male is different how you talk to a 20-year-old female. How you talk to a 20-year-old male is different how you talk to a 50-year-old male. So the way that you talk to them needs to be a little bit different, right? Depending on your product and service, married, not married, children, how much income do they have? What is their company? What is their position? Where do they hang out? When I say hang out, where do they hang out on Facebook? Where do they hang out on Instagram? Where do they hang out in real life? Okay. How urgently do they need the solution right now? What are the benefits that they're looking for that they need or are required? You need to answer all these questions. Okay. Then the next step is we go into the problem solution. What is the problem they're facing? Right? You must be able to describe the problem that they are facing, and you must be able to list out the solution that you provide. And we need to do it in a way that it's in benefits. We'll talk about features and benefits in a while. In fact, let me do this. Let's say someone's buying a hammer. Let me unshare this real quick. Okay, so let's say someone wants to buy a hammer. Why are they buying a hammer? Anybody can tell me why somebody would want to buy a hammer? D, go ahead.
They want to break something.
Okay, yeah, they could. It could be.
They want to drive a nail into something.
No, you're on the right track. But here's why they want to buy a hammer. Because they want to hang a picture. They buy a hammer because they need to hang a picture, right? It's not necessarily that I got to drive a nail in the wall. The problem they're facing is I got this picture here, this photo or this painting, and I need to hang it on the wall. So the solution is to buy a hammer, right? You got me so far, D?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about this. You know a drill, electric drill? Why would someone need to buy a drill?
To make a hole to build something for someone they love or something.
Someone they love? Drill a hole in someone they love.
Or someone who paid them to do it, right?
Right. So, but you're right. So there's two things we can go further. The first is make a hole. I'm buying a drill not because the drill is blue or because it's portable. I'm not buying a drill because of those things, right? I'm buying a drill because I need to make a hole. Now, I've had this experience where I had to make a hole in the wall, all right, for whatever reason, hang something or put whatever the reason was, and I didn't get the drill to make the hole to create a hole. I got the drill to create a hole to get my ex-wife off my back. Does that make sense? It's like I'm not saying that she's a bad person. What I'm saying is that the drill, whatever it is, right? And then it's like, I didn't make the hole to make the hole. I made the hole to stop being nagged at. Does that make sense? Okay. So when
For
you're
husbands, that makes sense, Chris.
yeah, for women it's different, right? You know what? That's very
Yeah.
sexist, D.
Yes.
I don't know why you would say things like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just kidding. So when we pitch our product, when we pitch our service, okay, some of us, at least two or three of us here sell perfume. Okay, so I'll ask Ms. Yati. Okay, when you sell perfume, is it easier or is it more convincing to tell you that you get this perfume from me and you'll smell good,
Not so
or is
easy.
it better? Sorry.
Not so easy for me to buy
Right.
to sell the perfume.
Right. So because you're selling the perfume, we should not be selling perfume. Okay. Jamaya, you should not be selling coffee. Kay, you should not be selling VG. Yan, you should not be selling walking tours. Ridwan, you should not be selling social media services. Rafi, you should not be selling hypergear. Jiwei, Sylvie, Irene, you should not, and Cassie, you should not be selling media solutions. Linda, you should not be selling image training. Okay, I'll explain why. Yati, you should not be selling perfume. You should be selling, and you shouldn't even be selling smell good. Okay, what you should be selling is find out what their problem is, and if their problem is, I need to attract a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Does that make sense? For example, yeah, okay, you don't sell a smell good. You want to deep dive a little bit more into why do they actually want to buy what you have. Because if you can find out the reason why they want to buy what you have, you don't need to sell. Does that make sense? You see, Jan, you don't sell walking tours. What you do is you sell family time. You sell being close to nature, away from the city. Because don't you, aren't you tired of the stress in the city? Wouldn't you want to spend some time walking in nature without the stress of your freaking boss calling you every hour? Or spending time with your kids in nature looking at the birds? That's what you're selling. You see, we have to get away from I'm selling this, I'm selling that. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, you are not selling your product or your service. What you are actually selling is a solution to a particular person. Does that make sense? Right? Yes, thumbs up if you agree. Okay? Is it easy or hard? It's hard. But if you do this, you're going to be better than your competition. You're going to become better than your coworkers, and you're going to become better than you are right now at your current results. You see, we try to sell features, features, features. Oh, it's let's say perfume. Oh, it's made of oil, or it comes in an attractive package, or whatever it is. We try to sell features. All right, but we'll talk about features and benefits in a while. Okay?
Chris.
Yes.
So basically, we can say that we should be learning according to our product and the client's problems. We want to sell solutions or
Right.
sell dreams.
Well, no, not dreams. You want to sell solutions, and I very hesitate to say that we want to sell the dream, because that's very cliched. We want to sell the dream. When we call it the future pace, and I'll discuss future pace later. All right. It's not so much the dream, but the future reality is what we want to sell.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Any questions so far from anybody? Okay, I will continue with the training slide. Oh, let me ask you this. Everything useful so far, yes or no? Very dangerous question, right? Raise your hand if it's yes. Okay, like that if it's no. Okay, all right. Let me get the training slides back on. Okay, so we need to know the problem they're facing and what is the solution that you provide, right? So advertising, what is the problem that they need to solve? For advertising, is the problem that they need to solve, is it that they must do more advertising? No, the problem is they don't have enough clients, they don't have enough prospects, they don't have enough leads. For training, what is the problem that they need to solve? What is the gap that they have? In insurance, what is the problem they need to solve? Do people buy insurance just for the sake of buying insurance? No, they buy insurance to solve a problem or a future problem. Okay. Next is the price and the value. So what is the price offered? Is it low, medium, or high? What is the value given? You know, this question of a price, you all have to decide on the price. But I'm going to share with you how you can kind of funnel people into a medium and a higher price. All right. But let's talk about value. I shared this before. When we talk about value, there's a couple ways to do it. We can give an irresistible offer, or irresistible offer does not mean, okay, the price is 1,000 and it's now 100. Yeah, you could say that's a little bit irresistible because we always hear, like our partners, are female, yeah, and not to stereotype, but just to give an example, gentlemen, how many times have you heard your partner come back from shopping at the mall? Not now, yeah, but before, come back from the mall and they say, and you ask, we ask the question, how much did you spend, right? And they never tell you how much they spend. They always tell you what? They always tell you how much they save, right? But we're not concerned with that. And when we talk about how much they save, it's like, okay, so how much do you save? Oh, I saved 500 because this thing was 1,000 and it's 50% off. I saved 500, and I said, and my answer is no, you didn't save 500. You still spent 500, right? But irresistible offer. I'll give you an illustration of this. Okay, so is how do you give value? I actually don't name the company, but since this is a private session, I can. In fact, let me do this. Let me stop sharing real quick. Okay, so you all heard of Famous Amos cookies? Yeah, I actually love the taste of Famous Amos cookies. But I have not eaten Famous Amos cookies in more than 6 years. Okay, somebody asked me why. Say, Chris, why don't you eat Famous Amos cookies anymore? Somebody asked me that.
Why?
Oh, thank you for asking, Linda. This is the reason. But have you all had Famous Amos cookies before? Some of you have, right? Okay. This is my experience. So I go to the counter. I've got the flavors: the chocolate chips, the raisins, the oatmeal, whatever it is, right? Okay, I want 100 grams of this, 100 grams of that, right? So they have that digital weighing scale, right? So they weigh out 100 grams, and then when I see the scale, it's like 102 grams, and they take one cookie out. One cookie, they take one cookie or two cookies out, right? And then it's like, dude, it's 1 gram. Put it back. Oh no, we have to follow the weight. That's the reason why I don't buy Famous Amos cookies anymore, because it's like they're getting cheap. Now, there's another company called C's Candies. This is how they do it, and we need to learn this. This is how they do it. You line up. You can actually pick the candies that you want, the chocolate that you want, and they go by weight, right? So they put all the candy in a nice box, and then when you're done choosing, right, they put the candies on the weighing scale. Example, yeah, let's say it's 200 grams, and then they tell you it's 200 grams is this much. Is that okay? they will engage you in conversation, and then so now you have eye contact and voice contact, right? And you say, yeah, that's good. And then do you know what they do next? They will reach down for one or two more chocolate pieces, and they make sure that that I'm looking at them when they reach for the extra chocolate, and they put it into the box, and then they look at you and they smile. And that is an irresistible offer. Okay? So you can save the 1 or 2 grams or the 5 grams, whatever it is, and I'll never buy from you again, which I have not bought in 5 or 6 years. Or you can do like See's Candy, and they agree on the price already, and they throw something in. I've done that so many times and I do it. You got to do it sincerely, okay? You got to do it sincerely, all right? And it buys goodwill. It buys a lot of good thoughts and goodwill with your clients. You all kind of agree, yes?
Chris, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I agree. I totally agree with that, especially as a consumer. But is it possible that like companies may penalize the staff if they find out that they're always like giving a gram or 2 or 3 extra, and maybe
okay,
yeah,
in See's Candy, it's a company decision to do it.
Right, exactly.
In the famous Amos cookies, it's a company decision to not do it.
Right.
Okay, and I understand your question. Your question is, let's say if I work at Famous Amos and they told me to do that and I have to follow it, I would not work there. I would leave. Okay. Especially if I see that we're kind of, you see, we're not screwing the customer, because if you pay for 100 grams and you get 100 grams, right? You're not cheating the customer. What you're doing is that you're buying goodwill.
Yes.
Right? Because, okay, would you rather go to a restaurant? Okay, the quality of the food is the same, the price is the same, the convenience of parking is the same. Everything's the same. Would you rather go to restaurant A, where the hostess or the maitre d' is like, hey D, good to see you again.
Hey.
Or if they don't know your name, they welcome to our restaurant, please enjoy your food.
Right.
That's situation A. Situation B is you show up, they look at you, sit over there, free table there. Which would you rather go to?
That's going to be a tough one, Chris, but I think it would be the first one.
Yeah. So does it cost them any extra to give a smile? No, it doesn't. So that's what we need to do with our clients. With my clients, you'll find that I will do my very, very best, my extreme best to never say no. Okay? I will tend to say yes and then figure out how to accommodate it. Unless the request is too extreme, even then I won't say no. I'll say, I won't say no. I'll say something like, quite possibly we're not able to do that. However, here's my my suggestion. Don't tell your clients no. We don't like to be told no. So no. Don't say that in your vocabulary. All right, make sense? Yes. Okay. So let's get back to the training slides. Oh. Done. Oh, hold on. Hold on, yeah, just 1 second. Okay, so we're clear on the price and the value, right? Then the next one, the call to action. The call to action is what do they need to do? You don't need to tell them, oh, you're going to enter my sales process, right? What do they need to do in order to enter your sales funnel, the sales process, your pipeline, right? This is more for you rather than them. It's a call to action. It would be what are the basic qualifications to buy your product and service? They must have the benefit. They must be able to afford it. They must be able to have space for it. Whatever you're selling, right? On this one, what do they need to do? They need to be able to qualify. So what is your qualification process, right? What is your qualification process to be able to enter your sales funnel? Do they have, let's say you're selling, a family-related product. Do they have a family? Do they have children? Do they have spouses? Do they have, let's say you're selling, a B2B, a training program. Do they have staff? Do they have team members? If they don't have, what's the point of trying to sell to them, right? So we need to understand how is the prospect qualified to enter your sales process, okay? Then this is where the magic is. We're going to spend time on follow-up because this is where we will spend time at the end of the day on follow-up because this is where we lose most of our deals, right? So what is your follow-up system? Is it a platform or a system? It's like, damn, do you even have a follow-up system? Most of us, when following up, we feel scared, right? We feel nervous, right? It's like, hey, if I call this guy, is he going to think that I'm pestering him or harassing him? I'm going to share with you a technique, yeah, that you will never, ever, ever feel that you're pestering or harassing them, okay? And then what is your follow-up process? Do you have a structured process? We'll go into stats later when we go into the follow-up. It's like, are you going to call? You're going to email? You're going to WhatsApp? You're going to text? How often are you going to do it? What are you going to send to them? What is the information, the brochures that you send to them? Okay. I'm going to share with you, exactly how you follow up. All right. And then the next part is you must know who your competition is, right? Because if you don't know your competition, how are you going to sell? Especially they say, oh, you know what, this company does that, and then you go, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, who's going to trust you when you don't even know your competition? You must know your competition as well as your own product. Okay, if you know what is their price, their package, what are they offering that's the same as you? What are they offering that is different from you? You must know these things. I will never, ever, ever buy anything from anybody, no matter how good they are, no matter how much I like them. If let's say you are company A, and then I'm considering company A and company B, who's your competitor, and no matter how much I like you, all right, and if I say, hey, so what do you think of company B? What is their this and that? And the answer is, I'm not familiar with them. And you should be, because they're a competition. I will never buy from you. Okay? You must know who your competition is. You must know their different pricing, their different package. It's not good enough to say, oh yeah, their price is the same, or our price is lower. It's not enough. You must know your competitor's pricing and your competitor's package. You must know what is different from your product and service. You must know what is the same. If everything is the same, then who should they choose, right? Okay, now for the types of prospecting, we have a couple different ones. We have the online and offline, and we have the warm and the cold. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to type the answer in the chat, all right? Is offline better? Is offline prospecting better, or is online prospecting better? So if you think that online is better, type in online. If you think that offline is better, type in offline. So let me ask you a question. For those that type in offline, let me unshare real quick. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Why, for those that said offline is better, why do you say offline is better? Just either type it out or unmute yourself and let me know.
Can I say?
Linda, yes.
Can I assume that offline simply means that it could be a lead that from someone that can generate me warm lead?
Anything. So
yeah.
This is how I would term online and offline. Online would be through, let's say, social media, SEO, online methods, or offline methods would be door knocking, cold calling, referrals. Which is better, online or offline?
I would prefer offline where we have more human
Hold on.
connection.
Right, but that's not the question, though, Linda. The question is not which do you prefer. I'm asking which is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll still stay with offline for now.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Rafi, you change your answer from earlier, and Kay, you said use both. That was a trick question. The trick question is that you should use both. You can use them in conjunction with each other, or you use them independent of each other, but you must use both. The reason you must use both is that your competition most likely is leaning towards online. Why do you think people prefer to use online methods of lead generation or prospecting? Anybody? Anybody? Yes, Kay.
For the time being, right now, pattern, people spend more time on their gadget, on their mobile, on their phone. That's why we should use the online method on the marketing, but we still have to use the offline to convince them as well.
Yes, you're right. I will tell you, Jan, you're right, because it's easy. Because we don't need to put in so much effort. Because we're lazy. And it's easier to do. It's easy to write a post, put it on Facebook, and then, I can relax the rest of the day. Isn't it? It's easy to do that, whether you get results or not. All right? What you should do is you should get the two to integrate. When you integrate the two, all right, you get leads online and you talk to them in the platform that they prefer. The platform they prefer would be whether it's phone call or email or WhatsApp or text or Zoom. Even on an online conference, you have Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, those things. I will tell you, I will answer every SMS, every WhatsApp message, every phone call. The only kind of communication that I will never answer, is a WhatsApp video call. I will never answer a WhatsApp video call, and I will never answer a Facebook Messenger video call. From the only person that I will accept it from is my partner, my wife. That's only that. Everybody else I will not accept. Okay? Some of you have accidentally called me on WhatsApp video, right? And I never answer. So you have to know how your prospect, your contact wants to wants to carry on the communication. What's the best way to find out? What is the best way to find out? What is the best way to find out how they want to communicate with you? Anybody? Anybody have share slip? Anybody have a suggestion on how we can do that?
Ask them.
D again? What's that? It's too simple, right?
Ask them.
Yeah, but that's too simple. That's
Simple
too
is
easy.
good. Simple is good.
You ask them, and how you ask them is, how would you prefer I communicate with you? Do you want to use WhatsApp? Do you want to use Signal? Do you want to use Telegram? Do you want to use Viber? Do you want to use WeChat? Do you want to use SMS? Do you want me to call? Do you want me to email? It's so simple. Just ask them. Because we sometimes they give us the phone number, right? And then we think to ourselves, oh, it's easier if I WhatsApp to them, isn't it? Right? My first contact with a salesperson, I despise that they WhatsApp. For me, all right. The reason that I despise it is because they're not even making an effort to have a conversation with me. That's me. And if I feel that way, there are other people that feel that way. There are also some that that don't want a phone call and they prefer a WhatsApp first. Correct? So we need to find out what is their preference. We need to find out what is their preference. All right? Okay, let's get back to the training slides. Now, you must do a combination of online and offline. Combination, whether it's together, that means they enter your sales process online and then you talk to them offline. Or they enter your sales process offline and then you send them information online. Now, then you have warm and cold. Warm is better. I'll tell you right now, warm is better. All right. According to industry stats, and we all like to talk to people that kind of know us or refer to us, but it's not enough. It's not enough. However, sometimes when you get a referral, don't you find that you make a little bit less money? It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit more difficult to close them because they expect more, right? You must balance the warm and the cold. You cannot rely on just warm because you only have so many, all right? Depending on your market, there's 7 billion people in the world, is it? Whatever the number is, right? Am I saying that you can close or you can sell to all 7 billion? No. What I'm saying is that your warm market or your referrals is this much, and your cold market is way bigger. So you got to get way better at approaching cold. At the same time, keep doing what you're doing for the warm. Does that make sense? Just raise your hand if it makes sense. Okay, awesome. Now, there's categories of prospecting. My most hated activity is cold calling. And cold calling, we can include that with email. A cold email or a cold call. Now, cold emails are, how would I put it? If you do it wrong, it'll piss people off. Okay, cold emails almost always start, sorry to bother you. Cold emails almost always start with, my name is Chris and I'm a this and this is what my company does, right? Cold emails usually, dear sir, dear, or even worse, dear sir or madam, right? Okay. If you're going to do a cold call or a cold email, do it the right way. If not, don't do it. All right. Then we have the in-person. Earlier, Kay was saying the door knocking, or maybe we have networking functions, whether it's online or in person. Maybe we ask someone to introduce us, to a particular prospect. Then we have social media, whether it's in our own post or a page post or in a group. All right. Whether it's advertisement online or offline, billboard, brochure, radio, TV, Facebook ad, uh, talking to existing clients, and then talking to existing clients to get more business, or to supplement or to add products, or calling existing clients to get referrals. Did you know that you can get referrals from people that you dealt with but never became a client as well? Okay. Uh, let's see. I'm going to go through this here. Okay. So these are the tools that you need. I won't list out all. You definitely need a script. You need a script for a cold call, a cold email, a referral, a referring call, to ask for a referral from an existing client, to a script for a cold email. You need scripts for all these things. Some of you are saying, we don't like scripts. We'll go through scripts in a while, all right? And I'll explain why you need to use them, all right? Anybody, okay, you see on the list there? We'll talk about this list after lunch. We're going to break for lunch in 2 minutes. But before we break for lunch, the second last point on this slide is apples and oranges, right? Okay, I want you to think about that before we break for lunch. We'll break for lunch in 2 minutes, okay? So let me come back to everybody here. Okay, if I can ask you a favor, put your video on for the next 2 minutes. I'm going to ask you this question. You know, the apples and the oranges, right? What do you think that means? Anybody have an idea? Apples and oranges. What does that mean?
They're different things, two different things.
It's like you hear people saying, it's like comparing apples and oranges, right? Okay, and then there's another concept, comparing apples to apples. Okay, here's how we want to use it. You want to think about comparing apples to apples. When you compare apples to apples, there's only one variable. Actually, there's two variables. Let's say, for example, K, Yana, I'm comparing DG to Cellcom. So let's say I look at a broadband plan, example only, yeah. I look at a broadband plan from DG, and I look at a broadband plan from U Mobile. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to compare the plans, right? Correct? So what it means is I'm trying to compare apples to apples, correct? When you compare apples to apples, what are the two variables that come into play? Anybody know? What comes into play, the two variables are you. You are one variable. You as the rep, you are one variable. The other variable, the second variable that comes into play is the money, is the price. When you allow your client to compare apple to apple, what you're really doing is you're telling them, hey, let's compete on price, right? When they're taking this plan and your proposal, and then they're looking at your competitor's proposal, it's the same. They're comparing apples to apples, and the two variables are you are one variable, the other is the price. When you put yourself in that situation, you now you are in effect telling the client, hey, let's me and my competition, let's fight on price. Okay, what we want to do is we want to twist it. We don't want an apple to apple comparison. We want an apple to orange comparison, and that's where the irresistible offer, where the exceptional value where adding the extra chocolate piece comes in. When you do those things, then you have transitioned from apple to apple comparison to apple to orange comparison. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, let's do this. We can take our lunch break and come back at 1:20, or we can take our lunch break and come back at 1:30. So should we come back at 20 or 30? Okay, one vote for 30, 30, 30, 30. Okay, we'll take one, we'll come back. We will start at 1:30, all right? Um, this Zoom room, I will close it when we break for lunch because I want to break up the recordings into 2 sessions for the whole day, all right? So you actually get 2 links, session 1 morning and session 1 afternoon, all right? Before we take our lunch break, can I ask everyone to put their video on? I'll take a screenshot of us while we still look young and fresh before lunch. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to look like tired and whatnot, right? So let's put our videos on. Jiwei, Sewi, if we can get that on. Irene as well. Rafi, are you still in the forest? Jiwei, Sewi. And then Cassie, if you can lower your camera. Awesome. Okay. Jiwei, are you there? Okay, we're gonna take a picture. Okay, we're gonna take a picture of D cutting vegetables. All right, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're gonna take one more picture. We're gonna take one more picture where everybody looks as fresh and pleasant as Cassie. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're gonna take one more picture, and I want everyone to have a wonderful, radiant smile, as radiant and as wonderful looking as Yati and Yana and Wati. Okay, on the count of 3, let's smile. Or Linda, your smile is wonderful. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I want to give all of you a hand. It's 12:23 right now. I will close the room. And I will open the room at 1:20, but we will start at 1:30. Is that okay? Thumbs up if it's yes. Awesome, guys. Okay, we'll see you at 1:20. I'll open the room at 1:20 and we'll come back at we'll start at 1:30. All right. Thank you.